How's it going, guys? It is Rob, and I am back with a brand new movies that I watched this week video. Of course, I got this idea from Julie Cassidy. Go check her channel out, go subscribe. I do basically Monday through Sunday where I watch at least 2 movies a day. And on Sunday night I do a video, and you probably won't see it until Monday, but whatever. Yeah, I try to keep it 2 movies a day. And, you know, during October, I did mostly horror films. So now I'm kind of getting into the randomness of different genres like, you know, comedy, action, thrillers, whatever. So, yeah, a lot of different stuff this week. Let's get to it. So this covers November 2nd to November 8th. So we're going to start with Monday, November 2nd. I watched Risky Business. This is one of my favorite Tom Cruise films, and I love everything about it. You know, Rebecca De Mornay is great in it as well. About a kid who basically does all the wrong things because, I mean, he takes risks. That's risky business. He's told not to do things, and then he does it anyway, not really thinking about his future, and it kind of creeps up, you know, and kind of stabs him in the back a little bit. But yeah, it's a great film. I love the music to this. It's got one of my favorite songs by Phil Collins, In the Air Tonight, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. This movie is, and you know, it's one of the most popular scenes with him dancing around in his underwear or whatever. You know, listening to old-time rock and roll, which, I mean, it's a great scene. I'm not going to say it's not, but it's one of the most popular scenes of his. The other one I watched on Monday is a classic Joel Schumacher film. And it's got to be my favorite one from Joel Schumacher. Falling Down with Michael Douglas. Basically about a man who is sick and tired of society. He is sick and tired of the way people act, the way they run their business, just everything about, you know, it's just like everyday life is a problem. And he addresses it. He really does. He you know, he goes into a convenience store where they charge a little bit too much for batteries or a soda. And he basically demolishes the place just to make a point that, you know, the consumer is always right, and, you know, you're charging way too much for stuff. You know, goes into the restaurant, he's like, I want breakfast, and they're like, well, we're serving lunch. And he's like, I don't want lunch, Rick. I want breakfast. And, again, he makes a point. It's just, this movie's great. Michael Douglas, I've never really seen him like this. He's such a great character in this. So, Falling Down. Moving on to November 3rd, which is Tuesday. I watched Legion with Paul Bettany. This movie gets shit on a lot, and I actually like it. I think it gets a little crazy in the third act, but I find this movie to be creepy in some ways. It's got a good cast. You got Tyrese Gibson, you got Lucas Black, like I said, Paul Bettany, you got Kate Walsh and Dennis Quaid. Yeah, I enjoy this for what it is. And the best part of this is when the old lady comes into the restaurant and she's like, your baby's gonna burn. All the little babies are gonna burn. Like, it's a crazy scene, and I just love it. So, yeah, Legion, I don't think it deserves the hate that it gets. The other one I watched is Walking Tall. Definitely my top 10 favorite rock films. You know, this was before he was bulging muscles. I mean, he had pretty big muscles here, but not like he did in Baywatch and stuff. He's just normal rock here, and that's why I like this movie. He stands up, you know, for what he believes, and just very, very well done. I like the fight scenes. I like the story. And it's inspired by a true story as well. So, Walking Tall. Moving on to November 4th, which is Wednesday, I watched Showdown in Little Tokyo. Great action film with Dolph Lundgren and Brandon Lee. May he rest in peace. It sucks what happened to Brandon Lee, as well as his dad, Bruce Lee. It's just like, it's like a family of tragedies. But it says, one's a warrior, one's a wise guy. They're two LA cops going after a gang of Japanese drug lords, feet first. Very, very good movie. A lot of fun. Yeah. Classic action flick there. And it's funny, I found this DVD. Usually you can find this in like a double pack or like even like a multi-pack. But I actually found this separate. So I was actually glad because it seems like it's very rare to find this by itself. So the other one I watched is a thriller called The Butterfly Effect. Now, there are sequels, but I didn't like any of them. With Ashton Kutcher, I'm not the biggest Ashton Kutcher fan. I think, you know, I don't know. I just don't think he's that good of an actor, except for this movie. He was very, very good in this film. It's got Amy Smart. Basically, you know, he can change a scenario by writing in a book, like just like this, you know, like a journal. And when he reads it, he gets transported to that time. He can like change timelines, and it's like he can change it to the way he wants, but then it will have effects on certain members of his family, or he wants to make things perfect, like where everything works out, but when it seems like it works out, there's like something that's wrong with that timeline that he created. So then he goes back to do something else, and then again, it's not perfect. Something's wrong. The whole movie is like, it just goes through like, you know, if you can travel back in time, you're disrupting everything that has gone on, you know, prior to that, or like leading up to that moment. And so to make things correct in the way you want it, you got to make sure certain events happen a certain way. Very, very cool movie. I like the characters. It's very well paced, and like I said, Ashton Kutcher is very good in this. I'm not a big fan of him, but he was great in that movie. Very, very, very good thriller. Okay, so that was Wednesday. Moving on to Thursday, November 5th, I watched a great comedy, Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo. Probably my favorite, you know, Rob Schneider film. And Rob Schneider is good in collabs when he's with Adam Sandler, or, you know, he was in Home Alone 2. For a film where he just, you know, stars in it, or a solo film, I think this is his best one. I did not like European Gigolo. I thought that was dumb. But this one, I just laughed out loud. Just, it's so good. It's so funny. I'm a gigolo. A gigolo who? $10? Yeah! Great movie. It's so good. The next one I watched is another great comedy, and I love it because of the era and the timeline it takes place in. Take Me Home Tonight. A movie that takes place in the 80s, and it's all about 80s stuff. 80s music, 80s clothes, 80s movies, because in the beginning of this movie, Topher Grace actually works in a Suncoast Video, and I remember those fondly, going in there to look at VHS tapes. And so good, man. This movie is funny, but it's also nostalgic. But you got Topher Grace, Anna Faris, Dan Fogler, which I think he's hilarious, Teresa Palmer. This movie, you know, it's basically about a kid who was a nerd in school, and he's going nowhere. He works at Suncoast Video, and he wants to get together with Teresa Palmer's character, who is a you know, she was the popular girl, the blonde, the prettiest one in the school. who did everything, and he wants to get with her, and so he ends up meeting her. You know, they go to this party, and he's trying to find the courage to ask her out and impress her and all that stuff. And while this is all going on, there's other storylines. Chris Pratt's even in this. This was the first movie I think I ever saw Chris Pratt in. But at the time, you know, he was with Anna Faris. But while this is all going on, there's great 80s songs playing. I mean, a lot of 80s music. A great 80s film. There's a really funny, there's a Take Me Home Tonight music video, but then there's a deleted scene or music boombox where they dress up as characters from the 80s, like the Ghostbusters, and there's Terminator. Michael Biehn is even in this film, and he plays a cop. He plays Topher Grace's dad. They even do like a Terminator thing, which is really cool. But yeah, this is a great movie. I definitely recommend this movie if you have not seen it. If you love the 80s, you'll love this movie. And Topher Grace is good too. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but... So, that was Thursday, November 5th. Moving on to November 6th, Friday. I watched Basketball, another funny comedy. This is great. What are you guys up to? Oh, just hanging out, playing Nintendo, cock. You guys graduated? Of course we graduated, cock. Beer? God, this movie's great. Directed by David Zucker. You got Yasmin Bleeth, Jenny McCarthy, Robert Vaughn, Ernest Borgnine, and also Matt Stone and Trey Parker, who do South Park. And they invent a game called Basketball where they play basketball, but it's baseball rules. So, you know, there's a single, a double, a triple. There's home runs where you shoot from a certain... It's a really cool idea if you think about it. I remember when I first saw this movie, like a long time ago, I remember I went out to my driveway because I love to shoot hoops, and I did the same thing. I had baseball rules while playing basketball, and I thought that was a really cool idea, and I had a lot of fun with it. I don't know, it's just a creative... It's a creative kind of movie with the funniness of the South Park creators. But yeah, really, really good comedy. And another one that I used to watch all the time that I think is very good, you know, it's well done. It's got Sinbad in it, and it is First Kid. Yeah, this is one of those movies kind of like, you know, Three Ninjas or Big Green or The Mighty Ducks or The Man of the House, so those kind of movies, Blank Check, Walt Disney. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, I really enjoy this one. It's got the kid, I don't remember his name, but he's in Cabin Fever. Eli Roth, Cabin Fever, of course he's older, but here he's a kid, and he also appeared in Home Improvement along with Zachary Ty Bryan, who's also in this, who played one of the kids in Home Improvement, Brad. He played Brad, but these two were in an episode of Home Improvement together. Right around that age. So, but Sinbad, he's hilarious in this movie. It's very good. I don't know, it's even heartwarming too. You even feel sorry for the kid. Okay, so moving on to Saturday, November 7th. For me, this was a Stallone and Schwarzenegger day, and I tried to pick some movies that I haven't seen in a while. And we have Demolition Man, which, yeah, I haven't seen it in a while, and I freaking love this movie. Every restaurant is Taco Bell. He doesn't know how to use the 3 seashells. I can see how that'd be a problem. Stallone and Snipes going head to head. I love it. Just the comedy of it. I love the futuristic look, the action, and, you know, Sandra Bullock's good in this. Again, this has Rob Schneider in it. And, of course, you know, he's, like I always say, he's good in collab movies. But this is a very unique film. It really is. These two are great together. That's why I was so happy to see Wesley Snipes in Expendables 3, because I'm like, oh man, I'm like, we have them together. And the last time we saw them together was in Demolition Man, but they didn't do a damn thing in Expendables 3. So the other movie I watched is a Schwarzenegger film that I feel is criminally underrated, and I really like it. Collateral Damage. I'll give you Collateral Damage. His his family is killed, and he's trying to find these terrorist people that caused it. And because the police aren't really doing anything about it, so he basically goes like undercover by himself to find out where these people are. And there's a lot of action in this, but it's from the director of The Fugitive, and I think The Fugitive is a better film. But this is definitely good for a Schwarzenegger film. I mean, honestly, this one, no one talks about it. It's got John Turturro in it and John Leguizamo. So, very, very good one. So, Sunday, which would be today. Like I said, by the time you see this, it'll be Monday. But, so, November 8th, I watched 2 comedies. And I don't know, I love these movies. First one is Grown Ups. The first Grown Ups. Second Grown Ups is not that good. But it didn't have Rob Schneider. And again, like I always say, Rob Schneider. It seems like it's been a Rob Schneider week. I've been seeing a lot of movies with Rob Schneider in it. Again, he was very, very good in this. But you have Adam Sandler, Kevin James, Chris Rock, David Spade. Basically the normal people you would see in an Adam Sandler film. And together it looks like they had the most fun with this movie. I mean, they're like laughing, even during production. Like, the final cuts of this film, you can see like they laugh, but they just left it in. Boys Will Be Boys, some longer than others. It's directed by Dennis Dugan. You also have Maya Rudolph. You have Maria Bello, Salma Hayek. Yeah, very good film. I laugh all the time. The last one I watched, of course I laugh at this all the time, is Step Brothers with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly from the people who brought you Talladega Nights. I think this movie is 100 times better than Talladega Nights. It's so funny. Just everything about this. It's got Richard Jenkins, and he's hysterical in this. Adam McKay directed it. What's her name? Mary Steenburgen. She was in Back to the Future 3. She played Clara Clayton. And that's how I know her. She's been in a lot of movies. But Back to the Future 3 is the one that I recognize her from. But yeah, this is such a funny movie. Do you want to go do karate in the garage? Yep. So, Step Brothers. And that's it. Those are the movies that I watched this week. It was kind of a random week, you know. Like I said, comedy, thrillers, action. You know, I've pretty much, watched a lot of horror films during the month of October. So I guess you could say I'm on a little bit of a hiatus from that. But it's still my favorite genre, and I'm never going to quit watching them. So, all right, guys, tune in next Sunday because I'm going to have more movies to show you, movies that I watched that week. So, stay tuned. Thanks for watching and subscribing and commenting and all that stuff. I really do appreciate it. And, yeah, it's Rob signing off. See you guys in the next one.